McLaughlin was fired as Redskins GM. The team had a 17-14-1 record with one NFC East title in his 2 years. And keep in mind, their quarterback, Kirk Cousins, has also asked publicly to be traded, but was told it wasn't going to happen and signed his franchise tender and plans to be the quarterback in D.C. in 2017. Stephen A., I know you know this market well. How would you fix what's going on in Washington right now?
Well, we can't get rid of the owner, so that you got to throw that out there. But, you know, he's allowed the dysfunctionality to sift through this franchise like a virus. It's really, really unfortunate. But leadership comes from the top, and that's really what it comes down to. Now, the irony in all of this is crazy. First of all, I would give Kirk Cousins, if I could, a long-term deal. I wouldn't give, you know, I've often said I wouldn't give him over $100 million contract or something like that. But when you see the money that's out there, the fact that the cap is projected to go up significantly and what have you, you do make a case for Kirk Cousins based on his level of production and the absence of marquee quarterbacks available out there. This guy is better than average. He's been productive. And then when you look at what's going on around him, how you going to turn around and lose your quarterback too? You got to sign Kirk Cousins. You got to give some stability, or you're going to have to move him because you might have alienated him so much because he's ticked off. You got to massage that. Me personally, again, I would sign him. I would keep him. I would massage that ego a little bit. I'd fess up to messing up and that I should have taken care of him, and then I'd take care of him now. The reason I have to do that is because Deshaun Jackson is gone. Pierre Garçon is gone. And even though you got Crowder and you got Dotson and you got Jordan Reed and you still got Matt Jones and others, the fact is you need some level of continuity and leadership. That's what you need to do. And I also have to do it because I wouldn't trust that Jay Gruden could do it with yet another new quarterback in the fray. Jay Gruden had 2 years left on his deal. Somehow, for some inexplicable reason, he was given a 2-year extension. But look at the time that he had with RG3. This is a guy in Kirk Cousins he's absolutely supported. I would bow down on that, and I would pay Cousins since I've already taken care of Jay Gruden, and I would keep some level of continuity intact in that regard. That's what I would do since I can't get rid of Daniel Snyder.
So you want to fix Washington, have the owner sell the team. You want to fix the Knicks, have Dolan sell the team. You want to fix Washington, you have Dan Snyder sell the team. He's a terrible owner. A fish rots from the head down. And what you have here in Washington is a rotten fish. You know, some franchises can't even handle their version of prosperity. You can look at San Francisco, Harbaugh, the success they had there after being mired in failure in recent years before that success. Then they have a run of success, and it's like they don't know what to do with it. They can't handle it. They get rid of it. This has been Washington's version of success recently. This team hasn't won a Super Bowl in a million years. Their version of success recently is they've been 500. They've won a division. They've been better than 500. They had some interesting players. They had a high-powered offense, and what they're doing is trying to get rid of everything. Get rid of the general manager. Maybe you don't give the quarterback a long-term deal. Get rid of the wideout. I mean, they can't handle even their version of success. And so what we have now, and we'll see if you agree or not, because you're an NFC East fan. You have skin in this game, as do I. You with the Cowboys, me with the Giants. As usual, I head into the season as a Giants fan in the NFC East, looking at the Cowboys going, uh-oh. Looking at the Eagles going, uh-oh. Looking at Washington going, at least Washington is in the division. That's how NFC East fans feel. And that is a result of Dan Snyder, and I don't see it changing anytime soon.
Well, except for 2 years ago, right? And admittedly, that was a surprise to see the Redskins perform like they did in 2015. I hate agreeing with you guys. Like constitutionally, instinctually, I want to run away from both of you. But I think you're right. There are many reasons people want to come down on Dan Snyder. There are many reasons. At the top of the list, many people just hate Dan Snyder because the name of the team is the Redskins and he won't change the name of the team. I'm not in that camp. There are those that subscribe to the philosophy of the buck stops here at the top, that leadership sets the culture and example for every aspect of an organization. I am in that camp. And then there's a third, which is just simple logical deduction. If you've changed everything, but another thing is the constant, the problem is the constant. You've changed coaches. You've changed GMs. You've changed everything but the guy at the top. And at some point, you arrive at the very logical conclusion that Dan Snyder is, as you said, Max, the rotten head at the core of this corpse. That's the only way to fix this team. Now, if you were going to try to find something outside of that answer, I think you did find the right one, Stephen A., is you have lacked, because of Dan Snyder, total and utter continuity. You cannot win without continuity. Jay Gruden and Kirk Cousins, extending Jay Gruden and re-signing Kirk Cousins then, if you can, would provide you that continuity. I understand the Redskins' plight. The continuity you're signing up for is above-average continuity. No one really thinks that's championship-level continuity. But above average right now for the Redskins sounds like a pretty decent goal, as opposed to where they've been over the last decade.
Particularly when if you make the playoffs, if you've won your division, if you have a bye in the first round, that's not unthinkable with Gruden and Kirk Cousins.
I don't think
that
so
could
either.
happen. Then you win a couple games, you're in the Super Bowl. I mean, and that could also happen. The best team doesn't always win the Super Bowl. But as we've all have been saying, this is a dysfunctional franchise. The Clippers, for whatever problems they've had, as soon as Sterling was out of the picture, their future looked brighter. Same thing with the Knicks. If Dolan ever leaves, I mean, Jim Dolan, as soon as he took over the team, since then they've had this unprecedented, historically atrocious run. And Washington, in an otherwise evenly, competitively balanced division, is even when it's not true, as you mentioned a couple years ago, Will, they won the division. Even when it's not true, to start the season, you look at them on your schedule, you go, okay, at least that's a little break from the brutality of the NFC East.
Well, here's the part that I think that we're all three of us have neglected to bring up. This was supposed to be RG3's team, right? Mm-hmm. And then Daniel Snyder had that level of affection for him and wanted to hold on to him. And then begrudgingly, he had to concede that Kirk Cousins was that guy. And then he was the guy. And then 2 consecutive seasons, he goes out and he passes for 4,000 yards. But each time you had him on a 1-year deal. And so what we have is a situation where you had the coach who totally believed in Kirk Cousins. You had an owner who begrudgingly conceded that that was the way to go. But then you held them hostage by doing 1-year deals with them. You paid them handsomely, $19.95 million, scheduled to make $23.9 million this year because you tagged them. But in the end, what it comes down to, you refuse to show faith in him, thereby alienating him. So even though we all agree if you can't get rid of Daniel Snyder, the way to go would be to keep Kirk Cousins. Mm-hmm. It ain't just keeping him. You got to massage that situation because you ticked them off.
Yeah.
And now you don't want to play for you. You don't want to play for you.
You're going to want him to be there, and be in the right mindset, which he has been all along when they continued to tag him. By the way, that name change thing, we're going to have to debate that later because Max is very strong on the other side.